Recorded live in Balcatta, Western Australia, the hoon capital of the world. This is Talkin' Power.
Gap is what happens when you hold to the floor and crush the man next to you. There's space in between your back bumper and your front bumper. We in the South we refer to it as the gap band.
Well, I think Formula One is for grown-ups.
Shut the grade on this one, Rex. It's the guts.
When we start following the move, don't be little surprised we're gonna get down the chairs!
Yes, listen, please, 51 words.
Previously.
So, what about the sideways? You've got a race in your own lane. Now he's on the grass, he brings it back. That's a great driving there.
Torque and Power, your motoring and motorsport podcast.
G'day everyone, we hope you've had or having a great Christmas. Depends on when you're listening to this podcast. This is episode 20 of the Talk and Power podcast. It's a little bit different, our format for this one. We're talking with a number of our sponsors that have helped us out with the Camry. So in this episode we'll be chatting with Jamie Stortari at Shiftkits Australia, Stu Bond at WA Suspensions, Johnny Alardi at Benzene's Detailing, and Sandro Principe at SCM Performance. We need to thank all of our other sponsors as well. They are Simon at Allfast Torque Convertors, Trevor at BG Mechanical, Paul at KEAS Transmissions, Rob at Monster Torque, Mick at Overboost, Matt at Mach 1 Airconditioning, Rob and Mick from OTR Tyres in Midland, Chris from Challenge Batteries, and Grant from Per4manz Turbocharging. Thanks for all your help, guys. It's much appreciated. Anyway, let's get stuck into the interviews. First up, Jamie Stortari from Shiftkits Australia. Hello, Jamie. It's Nick from the Talk and Power podcast. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
That's good. Hey, look, thanks for joining us. We just wanted to touch base and go through some of the things that Shiftkits Australia do. So, looking from the outside, looking in, there's a whole variety of products that you guys offer to the aftermarket industry. Would that be correct?
Yeah. Basically, electronic shift kits and fuel injection, custom fuel injection systems, all sorts of vehicle electronics. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One of the things that sort of captured me was sort of the interface modules, I guess we'll call them, for the later model transmissions to be retrofitted to a variety of different applications. Are you able to talk us through? I know you do a lot of work with Simon, our co-host on the podcast, with his transmissions and Allfast Torque Converters business. Can you talk us through a bit about that?
Okay, yeah. So we've got a whole host of different controllers for Ford BTR transmissions, RE4 transmissions controls, which will basically let you run the transmission with a full programmable setup behind the engine. That's not factory pretty much. So obviously the guys doing LS conversions on the controls and all that sort of stuff. Have issues with the gears not scheduled at the right time. So we can put a programmable controller in there and you've got full control over all your upshift and downshift points and all of that. So it works out quite well, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because you did a similar thing for the Camry that we're in the process of building. So, and then Simon went on to tell me that that's one of the products that you offer to a variety of different transmissions. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah. So basically we do the full manual controls as well, which will turn your normal Ford BTR 4-speed into a full manual transmission.
Okay.
All electronically. We can do that with the Fords and the older 4L60s as well, yeah.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but you started out a number of years ago. You've been around for a while, but one of the first products you did was a shift kit for the 4-speed auto behind the 5 litres of the Fords of the day?
Yeah, the V8s and also the 6 cylinders like the EV Falcons right through to the AUs.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, no, I remember you from back then, and some of that stuff was there wasn't a lot available for us Ford guys in those who had those cars back then. So I remember some of the stuff that you were doing back then was pretty cutting edge for the. I mean, I guess it was the early 2000s and late 90s we're talking here. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think I started up around 2002, around there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically trying to same deal. There wasn't a lot of aftermarket support for the BTRs and that sort of stuff in the Falcons, so we had to do something with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you're the Australian distributor or reseller or dealer for Mega Squirt. Can you tell us a bit about their range?
Yeah, so basically, the Mega Squirt ECUs are, quite a powerful computer, which not many people sort of know about. People tend to hear about the normal brand names that you hear around Australia, but the Mega Squirt's a US-based ECU.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of different ECUs that are available depending on what features you need, but very, very powerful units and, very easy to adapt to any sort of engine in any vehicle, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of I've done a lot of conversions with the Mega Squirt computers in all sorts of weird engines, like W12 engines and that sort of stuff, so not your normal V8, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they run on no worries, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's gone into the Camry as well. So it's quite an impressive.
That's right.
Unit. Yeah. Oh, very good, very good. What are some of the other products you do as well? Are you able to, like, I know you do a whole fuel injection kit, throttle body.
Yeah, basically all custom fuel injection systems and that sort of stuff. But more so now, I'm doing a lot more auto electrical. So. A lot of engine swaps, custom fuel injection systems, rewiring vehicles, all that sort of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I've sort of, taken on a different avenue, but, it's all custom stuff, yeah.
One of the other things that I think is the next probably growth industry, I guess, is GPS tracking. I see you do that as well. Have you seen the market in that?
Yeah, well, basically, I've been working in the GPS industry for about 15, 16 years as well. So I do provide a tracking service for the car enthusiasts, which was basically a standalone tracker that logs where your car is and reports it all to a server every few minutes.
Okay.
It's basically it's a good way to go these days because there's a lot of cars getting stolen and that sort of stuff. So if you've got some sort of chance of finding it, it's well worth having. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So just talk us through your own ride. You've got something that you drive around on the weekends that you're able to tell us about?
I've got a 1966 Ford Futura Sports Coupe. Basically, it's a two-door American version of what we see as the XR Falcon over here. So that's running 351 Cleveland with individual throttle body fuel injection. Yeah.
It is a unique setup, that car. Right? The only reason why I bring it up is I know I was behind you for most of the Ace Ford Club cruise this year when we went from Curtin Uni to Naval Base there, and it was a beautiful sounding car, ran really crisp and clean, and I remember looking under the hood and thought, wow, this is definitely a really cool setup. So I just basically I'm one for doing stuff differently, and I just got sick of seeing Hollies on all these 351s and did something different. Is there much of a market for that sort of thing these days, or is that sort of tapering off?
There is and isn't. I mean, there's a lot of people that show interest in it, but when it comes down to the crunch, it's sort of probably out of their price range or what they really want to spend on setting up. So. I've done a couple similar setups for guys, but it's not a real common thing. I think most guys sort of opt out for the sort of the 4-barrel Holly and go that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
The individual throttles. It's getting out there, but not really common at this stage. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's a beautiful looking car, and it's a testament to the work that you do there. Where do you see what sort of new products are coming, like on into Australia in the next few years? Where do you see like what you guys do? Where do you see that going?
Well, basically, yeah, we're working more I'm working more with the fuel injection side of things. So obviously using the mega squirt computers and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot more technology coming into those ECUs. There's a lot of good features for racing applications and that sort of stuff, where they do all the onboard traction control and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yep. So
there's a fair bit of technology that's coming out in those, and we'll be implementing that in some vehicles as well to see how it all goes.
Yeah, okay.
And then we'll keep developing different transmission controllers for different vehicles and applications, yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, Jamie, where can we find you on Facebook? You got a Shiftkits Australia Facebook page? Is that correct?
Shiftkits Australia on Facebook. Otherwise, the website, it's www.shiftkits.com.au.
Yep.
So those two, you can contact me through the website or through Facebook. Yeah.
That's a very good website, actually, I must say. I've been on it the last few days and have found it very, very good and easy to use. So if you're listening out there, head on over to www.shiftkits.com.au or look you up on Facebook. Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, no worries.
Look, thanks for your time.
Right,
and thanks for your help with the Camry. It's much appreciated. We're working through it, and we had it running yesterday, and it sounded awfully mean, I must say, for a Toyota.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate your help that you've put in with that car.
No worries. Thanks, Nick.
All right, take care, Jamie. All the best.
Okay.
See you.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
We'd like to thank Jamie for all his help. It's been a lot of work he's put into the car to date. Anyway, moving right along. Some of you may know this gentleman from his commentary or commentating at the Ravenswood Raceway. Stu Bond has been in the industry for some time. He now runs WA Suspensions and is part owner there. We managed to catch up with Stu.
Hello, Nick. I'm very, very well. Happy Christmas to you, mate.
Same to you, Stu. Same to you. Thanks for being able to do this.
Oh, not a problem. It's going to be fun so long as I don't get too loose.
No, that's all
keep
right.
Keep me between the lines, my friend.
No worries, Stu. No worries. Hey, look, Stu, I just want to start by thanking you for helping us out with the Camry. We're not quite finished yet, but it should soon be done in the coming weeks. WA Suspensions, been around a long time. Tell us a bit about what you guys actually do there.
Oh, I guess it would be considered that we're the foremost independent suspension shop in WA. To be fair to the market, of course, there's the big chains that you can always go and see, but they tend to do everything the same way. They don't work outside the box. Rod and Kay Ryan started the business, I would guess, 35 years ago. And coincidentally, Rod Ryan was an apprentice with Peter Wilkinson Suspension, and that's a great family business that's grown up and up. And as WA Suspension sort of grew in Osborne Park, Wilkie's grew over in Bayswater. A fellow called Colin came to work for WA Suspension, and after several years left, and he opened Malaga Suspension. So you've got these three premium shops that vary in their componentry. So we use Lovell's, Bilstein and KYB and Coney, whereas Pete is a King Spring shop and Malagas are a Dobinson shop. But we all basically do the same thing. The majority of our work over the last couple of months has been GVM upgrades, where we take a vehicle that has a load capacity of, say, 600-700 kilos, and using a federally tested kit, we can increase the load capacity of the vehicle by, well, say, a 79 series Land Cruiser, we can take it up to 3,900 kilos. If it's a single cab, it might be 4,200 kilos. So that's really handy in industry where you need, the occasional big loads and stuff, so they can do it safely and the vehicles work well. But what I really like is the repair and maintenance work, especially on pre-78 model cars. We're doing a lot of stuff with left-hand drives. We're learning about that as we go. The main thing we're learning is that it's very difficult to get the parts you need to put these cars back on the road driving as good as they were on day one.
Yes.
So my partner in the business has been over to the States. He was the one who was at SEMA, and he's been talking to people who can supply us with genuine power steering units and direct replacement steering arms and all the things that we just can't get here in Australia. And we're hoping that that'll sort of fall into place in the new year and will become the premier left-hand drive muscle car and restoration shop as well. We do our own in-house wheel aligning. We do all sorts of mods. I mean, we put a 5-link into a Plymouth Charger. We did a couple of early model Falcons with VS steering box conversions earlier this year. This year. We like to do the things that other people think are a little bit too hard and maybe a bit too awkward.
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically us.
Yeah, I know. Many years ago, I bought my XW in there. I think it was before you were running it, and I know at the time, like I just got the car lowered, but I know there's a whole complement of parts and labour services that you can do when doing that sort of thing. So that's obviously still the case. So like changing bushes and all those sorts of things as well, I would assume.
Well, one of the things that Rod learnt over the years was put quality parts into cars. If people can't afford to do a quality job, we do the best we can to reduce our labour and try to cut corners, but we won't cut corners on parts. Yeah. So we use Super Pro bushes. They're polyurethane guaranteed for life. But if you bring in an early Holden to us, we might do the Super Pro bushes on the lower arms, but put genuine rubbers in the upper arms, because we know that's a good combination. We know what works in these cars and gives you a good 15, 20 years of life. So that's probably where we're a little bit different to the average mechanic.
Yeah. Okay. Also, can you I know you touched a little bit on what you did what your business partner looked at over in SEMA. So are there any other new products you can tell us about that will be coming through from WA Suspensions shortly?
At the moment, these control arms and power steering boxes, direct replacement power steering boxes, are what we're most excited about, mainly for the mid-sized Chevys, the Camaros, Mustangs, some of the earlier stuff. I mean, these cars in America are serviced every day, and they service them with reproduction parts, and we just can't get our hands on those parts here. I'm going to go and talk to the Department of Transport about any issues with these being installed. I want to make sure that they are transport compliant before we start importing them. I don't want someone who's got a beautiful car to be given a defect because they've got better steering arms on the car and no one knows about it. I know the department doesn't like adjustability on steering arms. Well, these ones are going to be a fixed pivot. They'll have the caster corrected in the arm, so where the ball joints go in will be change of alignment. But they're going to be, as far as we're concerned, a direct replacement part. They're not going to be like a racing part or anything like that, so we shouldn't have trouble with them on the street, because I can currently do exactly that with a set of arms for a 200 series Land Cruiser, and it's that they have no problems. There's a couple of different arms in the marketplace where they will give you grief, but we can purchase a fixed arm that'll go into the car and solve all the alignment issues, but it doesn't end up with the cops hammering you on the head. And especially when you pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a GVM upgrade and some nice parts to be put on the car to carry load, and then you're going to get pinged because your front arms aren't compliant and the car then risks being put off the road. I don't think that's a very cool deal. No. So we need to do it properly. Yeah, as things get harder, we just need to work harder to make sure that we're legal.
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Stu, I just want to touch quickly. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but a lot of people that have started coming into the drags in the last 10 years probably don't know you, but in my mind you're still the voice of drag racing in Western Australia, even though you haven't commentated at the track for quite some time now.
Probably about 5 years, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a bit about how you got into that, because as I said, I know you as the voice of drag racing for Western Australia.
I was doing my apprenticeship at a little panel shop in Main Street with a fella called Phil Cummings, and Phil was great mates with Pete and Ross Collings. They ran the Super B and the Fireball Altereds, and then Pete decided he wanted to put a funny car body on the car. Now, I didn't know that Phil was that Phil. I was going down the drags with my mates from the 1975 onwards, and being the Hoon, and I was playing my bugle on the start line and playing taps every time a Chevy blew up, and it was just having a hoot and getting abused by people who wear bow ties, which never really bothered me. And then one day Phil said, we're going to be working on the race car this weekend, and I thought he must have meant like a circuit racing car, and he said, no, the drag racing cars, and I could then tell him all about them, which surprised him. I said, yeah, I'm always there seeing them race. So I was invited into the pits, which in those days was like 20 cars, and you'd go onto that little bitumen apron down the back under the sheds, and it was just glorious to be in the pits with the real racers. And kept going, and I think it was 82 or 83 when Keith Tyler was convinced that he should sell the track, and the consortium of the Miosevic's, the Prendergasts and the Collingses purchased it. And then I was having beers at Swan Automatics on a Friday afternoon, as we would do, and they said, we're going down the track on Sunday to do this. And I said, that's very kind of you to do that for Keith. And they said, no, we bought the track. So they were going down to lay slabs and sort the mound out and do stuff like that. So I just drove down and gave them a hand, and just like one of the boys had a barbecue and a beer. And a couple of weeks later, I'd been frantically roller skating and working in roller rinks after hours. And they said to me, you've been a DJ person before? And I went, yeah. And they said, well, we've got Steve Eagleson and we've got Steve Murray and we've got all these other people that are really good talking about the supercharged cars, but they all need a break while the street cars are running. And I said, like guys like Quentin Bice and his Tirana and all these other guys. And they said, yeah, you know those guys. Come down and grab a microphone. And that was it. They couldn't get me out of the box after that. And in the end, as other people went off to do things, Steve got his bike running, so I ended up talking about the bikes. And there was a long period of time where I was the only one there, and I kept saying to them, we've got to bring more people in. We need to continue building up from the base. Young Richie Howlett became available, and he was very young at the time, and I said, let him in, let him come and do stuff with us, and Richie's really matured into someone very special. He loves the car scene, and basically up to a point where we knew that, I was graduating university, and Gary Miosevich said to me, what are you doing at uni? I didn't know you were there, and I said, I've just spent 5 years doing a media and marketing degree with journalism and photography as minors, because I don't think people represent the sport terribly well. And he said, well, I'll give you a job. And I went to work in the office with Ray Treasure, and we had quite a good time filling Ravenswood up to the point where the toilets didn't work because you had too many people in there. And then, they said, well, that's it, that's all we can do. And I said, well, why don't we try and move up to the city? And that's become history, basically. Gary has done a tremendous amount for WA drag racing. I don't think people understand exactly how much he's put into it, not only physically but mentally, and also financially. He's spent a lot of the family's money making sure that the sport was going to have a solid home here. And I'm forever in his debt because he always gave me a job, until I decided that I couldn't work there anymore. I was always welcome in the place. So, and it's actually fun now, Nick, going down there and being anonymous. Only all the old farts know me, and the young people, I stand there and listen to them talking about the sport, and they definitely have a different perspective to the way I was doing it. And if I was sitting in the box instead of being out there listening to them, I wouldn't look at it through their eyes. And I think that's what's missing in the sport a little bit, that people aren't sitting out listening to the audience. They're too busy sitting, somewhere comfortable with their mates saying the same things over and over. So, we need to get out of that habit a bit, And there was a generational change in drag racing, the mid to late 80s, this new generation came through and pushed it really hard, and I think that was part of the excitement. But the older people who've always wanted to influence the sport seem to have it in a stranglehold again, and anyone who disagrees with them is told to shut up fairly quickly.
No, fair enough, Stu. Well, no, I appreciate that. Just a quick question about your own ride. Do you still have the F truck?
No, I don't. Young fellow loved it more than me, and he just offered me money for it. And I went, yeah, okay. Cool guy. I only spoke to him 3 or 4 times. Came into work in an FC station wagon, said he does up old Triumph motorcycles and they look silly on the back of his Hilux, and he was going to get rid of the Hilux and he wanted to poke him on the back of my F-truck. So after he came back the 3rd or 4th time and his dad took it for a drive, he said, yep, okay, we'll swap the car for money. I'm actually looking for a C10, 63 through to 70 model C10 right now, because I'd like to bring it in absolutely stock standard if I can find one, get it all licensed, and then over the next year use it as a base for us to develop from, so we can record the changes and things like that. But that's sort of a side project.
Well, Stu, we really appreciate your help and expertise.
Not a problem.
Well, Stu, I know Simon and myself look up to you and respect your views on drag racing in WA.
Well, Nick, I'm going to tell you a little story right now just before we go. It's not going to get anyone in trouble, but you guys absolutely love Darryl Eastlake yapping on about Brendan McSweeney and John Zappia. You do. Do you know who was standing in the middle of the track when that happened? It was me. I was over there doing the commentary, and all weekend Gerald McDornan had been giving me shit about being from Western Australia, and I think the Eagles must have had a bad year, and it was West Australia this, West Australia that. And John and Brendan, my memory is that John and Brendan went out in an early round, and I'd spoken to Steve and Betts and said, are you going to bring these guys out and do that feature race thing? And everyone was expecting it was going to be John and Victor, but Victor was still in. So he did bring out Brendan and John to race against each other, and they were both pretty amped up because they'd lost in the first round. When the cars left, John got out of the way, as everyone's seen on YouTube. Go and see it, and headed for the grass. And what you might not be able to get from YouTube, there is a pretty good shot of it from the front that I remember seeing on the big screen. John's actually blipping the throttle all the time that he's on the grass. He's like, bop, 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 like you do with a motocross bike when you're trying to keep the back loose so that it doesn't try to come around on you. And listening to this do it, it must have stabbed it 3 or 4 times and then slowly brought the car back onto the track. And I thought, what an awesome bit of driving, as you would do, because anyone else might have gone into a panic, turned hard, tipped the car over, hit the wall, who knows. There's a million things that could have gone wrong and only one thing that could go right, and John did it the right way. So I was pretty pumped up that it was all saved, and the audience was going off their head. And I do remember from the commentary box I heard, Andrew should look into that. He's out of there. He did not get off the throttle when he went out of bounds. Andrew should ban him. This car should be banned from racing. Blah 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 blah. And then aimed at me, and I don't know why, except that they were just trying to give me shit. I'm the new guy there. Well, do you all drive like that in Western Australia? And I said, calm down. John's a good guy. I saw him talking to Bob earlier on, and maybe he thought he'd just go out there and mow the lawn for him a little bit. Since the race is over, I'll give the lawn a bit of a mow and say thanks to Bob. Thumbs up and away we go. And I was pretty incensed, that he was, and it went on for the rest of the day. All this shit about Zappia's car, needs to be looked at, and he should be taken to tribunal for driving the car on the grass. And it just stunned me, because they did the voiceover about 2 weeks later. Absolutely stunned me that they turned my words around and turned that little bit of racing into a feature after being so negative in front of the audience in Victoria. And I thought it taught me a lot about the insincerity of some drag racing people. They'll say anything they can to pump themselves up at that moment, and not matter how much impact or negative impact it was going to have to the sport or to a racer out there. And it's been one of the great lessons of my life, and hopefully all the commentary I've done, I've always tried to turn a negative into a positive, and it's advice to anyone in their lives. If you've got the opportunity to talk about an event that happens around you, look for the positive, acknowledge the negative, but say, hey, that didn't go really well, but we got this, this and this out of it, and we can build from here. And, if there was more of that in our sport, I'm absolutely sure we'd be in a different place today. The other thing that we all need to consider is the people who are currently asking for our permission to drive the drag racing bus are the ones who've been driving it for the last 25 years. They don't know how we got to where we are right now. How can we trust them to drive us back to where we need to be? Is that too controversial for Christmas?
Nah, not at all. Stu, really, thanks for your time today. We really appreciate it.
I hope everyone has a fantastic break and looking forward to next year. If it's been hard the last 3 months for some of the businesses around you, not by yourself, because Perth is a bit quiet, but there's lots of encouragement, lots of people talking about good things next year. So let's all look forward to it. And thank you very much for your show, guys. It's fantastic.
Thanks, Stu. We loved having you on.
Okay, mate. Cheers.
We really appreciate Stu's time and his insight into all things drag racing and suspension, of course, and for his help that he's put into the Camry as well. Moving right along, we caught up with Johnny Alardi. I've known Johnny for a long time. He runs Benzene detailing and does a lot of high-end detailing work.
All right, Johnny, thanks for joining us today on the podcast.
Glad to see you.
How's things going there?
Yeah, no, everything's good, mate. Yeah, we're obviously into that point of time. Christmas is coming, and it's obviously good weather, so we see a big influx of street machines and all those sort of cars, especially some of that, some motivation around the corner as well. So yeah, it's a really exciting and busy time.
Oh, good. So that keeps you busy. Obviously this time of the year as we head into the season. So, anything exciting coming through the shop at the moment?
I'm just let me think. Top of my head. Yeah, we've probably got like probably stuff that we've already done during the year. Obviously, we've got a couple of guys from the WA going to some of that.
Yep.
So we'll have you in again just before Christmas. We'll probably see the Vampire panel van in just before Christmas.
Yep.
And we've got a few new guys that haven't been to some of that before that are going for the first time that have booked in for the week just before Christmas as well. So yeah, so we'll have some regulars and we'll have some new ones as well. And then we've obviously got there's some new WA cars getting built that we'll probably see before Motivation as well. So yeah,
okay.
It's just pretty cool to do the cars for the first time. So that's exciting.
Oh, excellent. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I saw you had on Facebook, actually, you posted a photo with Chris Bidmead's XB Boss. Tell us the work you did on that car.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to say, we've done a lot of work on it. Obviously, Greg Maskell painted the car over in Shepparton. So he's obviously done the majority of the detailing. He does a lot of it before he goes to the show, like at his shop, including the machine work, the buffing and all that sort of stuff. And he gets it to a point where when we get to the show, we're just doing like the once over, the final stuff and any little, bits and pieces that, that we need to fix on the day, then, yeah, I'll give a hand with that. So for me, it's more just the final sort of stuff, and with X-Boss, it's always another set of eyes, which is obviously before judging in that, it doesn't hurt to have a different perspective as well, and not someone that's always seen the car constantly. So it was I actually asked Chris this when we first started going if he would mind. He was happy to have me, and he said more the merrier, and like I said, many hands make light work. So and that car's got a lot of real estate to cover, especially in the detailing side. So so we just play with small. That's when I say it's a small part, but it's obviously still a bit of an important part as well.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's great. We caught up at the All Forward Day this year, and we had a brief chat, and we sort of discussed about where we see things going in the future. How do you see the future of, especially in WA, the automotive industry? Like, where do you see the aftermarket and the customised stuff heading towards this year, in the next few years?
Well, I think if we can get the retro sort of things sorted, I think it's only going to get bigger, because I think there's there's a lot more people just, you don't even have to be sort of like a car guy anymore to actually, jump in one of these old cars or street machine or anything. You're just finding like regular guys. It's a community now, especially seeing with Cars and Coffee. and there's other cars and coffee things, related events happening, and people just, loving getting in their car. And it doesn't need to be, a full-out show car. It just needs to be nice, tidy, and cruiser. Even, and I'm talking even like, the older Commodores are now getting, prices are going up because they're getting, that generation now is looking at that sort of car, and I reckon that's cool. So I just think, it's just going to keep getting bigger and better because, as long as we can sort out and, the regular rules and all that goes forward, then I think there's going to be a big demand, especially aftermarket, and not even aftermarket, just even the classic sort of side of things as well. More people are going to want to restore them. You got people handing down, grandparents handing down cars, and you see the kids wanting to get into that as well, I think. So I still think that it's going to be pretty strong for a while.
Yeah, agree. We spoke to you at the Hot Rod show earlier in the year about your XW. One of the cars you didn't really talk about much was your Premier as well. So that's just hit the road again. Can you tell us a bit about that one?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't talk about it because, like I said, it always gets pushed into the corner. I've had it probably when we bought the workshop in Mangara almost 4 years ago. That was the first car that actually rolled into the shop. And probably since then, it's just been always the car or the project that gets put to the bottom of the list when we're trying to do everything else. So obviously we're trying to grow the business. We're trying to, then we decided to do the XW again. And then, obviously all these other, and obviously all our customers' projects and cars and all that all take priority. So that was the one that always got put on the back burner. So I just chipped away at it, when there was, quiet in winter or anything like that, or we had some cancellations. That's when I worked on it. And that was the whole idea of having the car too. I didn't expect it to take this long, but that was the idea, to work on it when times were quiet. But luckily for me, I didn't have many quiet times, hence why it's taken a lot more longer than I expected to get it where it's at.
Sure. Yep. No.
So, and HC, it's a Premier. We've done a V8 conversion. It's got a 350 Chevy in it now, Turbo 350, LSD D4, brand new driveline, and it just to tidy up with the paintwork, quick once over with the paintwork, and just the usual stuff, bushes, suspension, everything, so it's all roadworthy and all that sort of stuff. So it's not a major build, but it's a pretty cool, like mini resto, I call it. So it's a good car.
No, beautiful car. I like that. I like it a lot, actually. Yeah. It's quite nice. All right, Johnny. Look, where can our listeners find you? I know you're on Facebook, so it's Benzene's Detailing on Facebook. Yep. Where else can they find you?
Yeah, we've got Facebook. We're on Instagram, obviously. You can come and see us at the factory, but it's probably not the best idea at the moment with being so busy. But like if you go to Custom Cars and Coffee, we're one of the sponsors there, so that's probably one of the best places and one of the most places we get. At least we can talk to people there as well. We can have a chat, and always you can even bring me to your car if need be, and that's a good thing to have. We can just be hands-on and visually see what we're dealing with. So Cars and Coffee is a good one. But more than welcome. If you want to come to the workshop, we're around Mangara, just give me a call and make an appointment. And I'm happy to sit down and have a chat, with anyone that wants anything done. So,
All right, no worries, Johnny. Well, thanks for your time today on the Talk and Power podcast. We'll talk to you, no doubt, in the near future. And thanks for coming on board with the Camry as well.
No problem. I look forward to seeing it when it's done.
No worries. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Nick.
Bye-bye.
No problem.
I'd like to thank Johnny for his time. As I said, I've known Johnny for a long time, and his help has been really appreciated. Okay, last but not least, we'll catch up with Sandro from SCM Performance.
All right, Sandro, thanks for joining us. Sandro, for those of you that don't know yourself or who you work for, it's SCM Race Engines and Performance. Just tell us a bit about what you do and what SCM do there.
Well, basically what we do is we cater for all aspects of the motorsport, whether it's circuit racing, drag racing, and obviously like Wanneroo and Speedway. We deal like from top-end engines to your Group 2 stuff to your normal everyday streeters for the guys that do restos. We also offer a dyno tuning service with the chassis. We've got a dyno jet, 2,000 horsepower, 200 mile an hour dyno.
Yep.
And we do every day late model logbook servicing for people as well. We've got another section that we do. There's another guy that does that. I predominantly just build race engines and, build engines, I should say, and basically just tune with carbies and that, modify them and tune them.
Yeah, yep. So it really is a turnkey sort of solution. I mean, I've been there a few times myself, and I know it's basically your customers can literally walk in and walk out with a turnkey solution, can't they?
Yeah. Basically, Nick, what I do is guys come in like we've been doing of lately, full resto jobs, and like I use two other partners that do it all. Is obviously Gregich Auto Electrics and Performance. He'll do all my auto electrical fabbing, and then I'll obviously build the engine, get it all on the engine dyno, get all the data, and then I basically just give all that data to Simon at Allfast. He'll basically give me a gearbox, converter combo, and recommend the diff ratio. We have a chat about that, and basically gives me a whole driveline package. And between them, I cannot complain or fault it. Yeah. We've had major success, and it's good to work with guys that are passionate about it,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know a number of your customers have had success. Like a lot of the guys down the track have come through, and I see the photos come through on Facebook. I think Johnny was one of the latest ones as well. So it's good. It's really good to see. The dyno cell, or the dyno jet, the single roller. That's so you're saying that's a 2,000 horsepower, 200 mile an hour dyno?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right.
I've had to date. I've been 198 mile an hour on it.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty scary. Yeah. Yep.
I've seen it. I've seen the room, and it's quite an impressive unit.
Yeah, the room's got built in America.
Yep.
Then it came here and we put it all up, and obviously we set it all up, and run it through. We had the guys come over when we first had it, set it all, and it's been good. I mean, like a few people say, like they do read increased numbers. The only difference is we can anchor it properly and run. You can run your slicks on it. It doesn't hurt your slicks, and it's good base. So basically, what I do with a lot of guys, like as you just said about success with Johnny and all that, we run them up on the engine dyno, get the package. Obviously like with Allfast and that, with the converter and gearboxes and that, get it all done. Go to the track, and then we know we've got our baseline. Then I just put it on the rollers and chase that little 1 and 2,
Yeah.
And then go back to the track, and we see improvements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
also, Sandro, just some of the products that you guys also represent or resell. VP Racing Fuels, they got a new PSX Plus out. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. What they've done is the old PSX had a lot of oxygen and not a lot of octane in it.
Yep.
And it was a real narrow window. And basically what they've done now is they've taken the oxygen content out and basically given it more octane rating, which has given it a wider window like Route 16.
Yep.
And basically given it, what they've done is that they've given it like a more of a scope for the average guy to tune with, and it does make more power. Like the specific gravity is just a little bit more than Route 16.
Okay.
And basically, like they've made it now so it's the same price as the sportsman guys that are using Route 16, and you can have, basically run and make a bit more power, which it does.
I also know Brad Penn Oils. I know you've been doing the Brad Penn stuff for some time now, so that's also another range of products in your scope.
Yeah,
as well. Yep.
Yeah, it does, and it sells good. And even we do the engine oils from 0-30 up to your 70 weight, and they do the Type F, the original Type F transmission, which we got here as well for all the guys that are racing and that. They do the diff oils like the synthetic range and your normal, and it's been really good product. We also do now the VP oils.
Yep.
The full synthetic for the race guys, the guys that want a full synthetic. That's in a small range, but we do it for the guys that want to run the full synthetic and try to get every little bit of power out of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Sandro, tell us. I know your own personal car, the XF. How is that? Is that going to make an appearance this season?
Yeah, believe it or not, with Simon, as you know, he's a partner of the deal. Yeah, we've had a gearbox issue that obviously Simon's rectifying. I've had a cylinder head issue. I'm on my 5th set of cylinder heads now.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'm going to try and make another appearance. It's just, with the business and that, it just takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of money too,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. We were pretty happy with the progress from where we were going back years ago to where we were last year. Unfortunately, Western Nationals, we had two major problems that ended it real quick. But yeah, it's very promising. Power-wise, yeah, it's making good power.
Yeah. What probably some of our listeners don't know regarding the XF is that's you race that in super, or a class we call super stock.
Yeah, CMS.
Yes, so CMS. So you're having, just so we can explain it to our listeners, you're having to make some pretty serious horsepower from quite a small engine to be.
Yeah, from basically, I've got to use a cast iron head.
Yep.
290 cubes flat tablet. We got to do a weight break, which is 11.35 horsepower per cube.
Yeah.
And so basically, the car weighs 3,300 and something pounds. I think 3,320 to be exact.
Yeah.
And we can only use OEM heads, cast iron head.
Yep.
A world product head, and can only be a flat tappet.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're making well over 2 horsepower per cube.
Yeah. I mean, looking from the outside as well, that car looks completely factory. Like you could drive it down the street, no one would even know really. But it's really a good. It's a credit to what SCM do there and yourself, that car. Just want to touch on the Sora as well. How's that travelling this season? Will we see that?
Yeah, we're hoping to get out this season.
Yep.
But it'd be touch and go. Definitely the new season will be out. Boys have just developed a set of cylinder heads, so they're getting there. And but that'll definitely be out.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely be out in the new season.
Okay. And the other one in the stable is the VN, Stephanie's VN. That's quite a nice car as well. That's still in Super Street.
Super Street, yeah. That's gone a best of a 10.13 or 10.14 by memory, 133 mile an hour. And that's got a 2-speed power glide, LS1.
Yep.
Still got a little 3.9-inch bore. It's good. It's been good.
And that's a street-driven car, isn't it?
Yeah. We have some fun on the street with that. Yeah, it's with the power glide. Yeah, happy days.
No, it's a beautiful-looking car. That one. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah, and then we got the VL. Remember Matt's black VL?
Oh yes, yep.
That'll be out hopefully the end of January.
Okay.
We're just working on his 308 now.
Yeah, okay. All right.
We're going NA to start off with. And see how it progresses.
Oh, good.
And then maybe at some stage put 2 turbos on it.
Yeah, okay. Oh wow, there we go. No, I didn't know about Matt's VL. I knew he had the car. I thought it was off the radar at the moment. There you go.
Yep.
All right, Sandro. Look, I mean, look, I must say thanks for all your help with the Camry. We're slowly getting through it, as you know. You talk to someone probably every day. So thanks for your guys, SCM's help with that and your help with that. It's much appreciated.
It's only a small token. I mean, I got like people say, it's all about the business. I just want to make it be known. Our business won't, is not where it is today if it wasn't for people like yourself and especially Simon at Allfast. Everyone goes, you're like husband and wife. Well, maybe we are, but people like himself that behind the scenes and what he does, the guy should be given a lot more credit, put it that way. Yeah. And I can't thank him enough for the amount of input he's put in.
Yeah. No, well, we thank you for your time, Sandro, and Charlie, and everyone there at SCM and the wider SCM family. I know it's a good family-run business. I've known Charlie for some time as well, and great family.
No.
All right, Sandro. Look, I'll let you get back to screwing motors together because I know you're pretty busy. So, look, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
All right, Sandro. Take care.
See you, Nick.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
I've also known Sandro for some time, and we really appreciate his time and Charlie Galotto's time as well. So thanks, guys. Okay, a little bit of a different podcast, as I said this week. Really appreciate all of our listeners tuning in. We hope you have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. And we'll see you all in 2018. Hopefully we get this Camry. Not hopefully, we will get this Camry on the track. And we'll see you all in the new year. Stay safe out there. See you guys.
Talk and Power stresses all characters and events on this podcast, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated poorly. We do not encourage street racing or the use of turbochargers.